Avery, here's Rhett.
That
Lang
is
LeBlanc Podcast.
That's a
Here's
wonderful
Rhett.
baby. Wonderful baby.
He's home.
That is wonderful. I love to see that. The pacifier is bothering me for some reason, though.
I don't know why the pacifier would bother you.
The pacifier.
He's an infant. He's a newborn. It's just
I know.
the way it's made.
See, he doesn't have choice over the pacifier. You guys do. I think the pacifier should have at
Avery's
least like
just offended
a
over the
hook on it.
I bought that pacifier.
You bought it?
Yeah.
Where from?
Walmart.
Ah,
Man,
Toys
we're
R
really
Us,
kicking
probably.
things off great, eh?
Yeah, we are
Well,
kicking things off right.
You know what? We got to see the baby. He is home now. So everyone
home.
knows he is home from the
He's
NICU.
home. He's home and healthy and fantastic.
Exactly.
I just got to tell the people to keep their arms in the vehicle at all times and strap in because it's going to be a blast.
Hey, call it a KFC special. We're chicken winging it. Like, God bless the new normal.
From Kindersley to Kelleher, Duck Lake to Davidson, you're listening to the Lang LeBlanc Podcast, a part of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. We're the weekly show chatting about the province, your Saskatchewan podcast with Sasky guests for a Sasky crowd. We fill you in on all things in the land of the living skies. I'm Brady Lang, and this is the 44th installment of the Lang and LeBlanc Podcast, and this week, we're here for a few laughs. We're speaking to Miles and Kirk Morrison, aka MileyMo and Kirky J of New Kids on Your Mom. We would first like to acknowledge that this podcast is recorded, operated, and edited on Treaty 6 territory, Treaty 4 territory, and on the homeland of the Métis. We pay our respect to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationship with one another.
The views and opinions expressed on the Lang and LeBlanc podcast are solely those of the hosts, producers, and guests of the program. They in no way, shape, or form reflect those of any affiliates the presenters or guests represent.
Hey there, and welcome back to the Lang and LeBlanc Podcast, and thanks for listening to the program. I'm Brady. I'm currently in Saskatoon. Let's head over to Yorkton now to check in with the other half of the pod. How's it going today, Avery?
Wearing a ton of layers every day I wake up, and the heater is running full blast because my upstairs neighbors moved out, and they have control over the thermostat. So, yeah, it is a little chilly.
All right, let's kick things off. How's the weather in Yorkton, Avery?
The weather. Wonderful weather.
Of course, you have to kick things off with the weather.
Of course. We did get snow at the beginning of the week, melted very quickly.
Good.
But since then, looking fine. Weather's looking good for the weekend. Double digits it's reaching at some point. How about in Saskatoon?
Oh, it's always sunny in Saskatoon. No, it's been nice from the moments I'm able to go outside, because things are a lot different around here. Obviously, like we said before, I'm not working for a little bit. We got the little guy here, which you guys just saw. He made his Lang and LeBlanc debut today, and I'm guessing he'll be on a couple more before we are done this program. Hopefully years and years from now. Avery was making jokes that he's gonna take over the podcast.
My kid will hop on it too eventually.
Exactly. So it'll be like a different type of Lang and LeBlanc 2.0 down the family tree. But yeah, it's been wild, man. And he came home from the NICU last Friday. So we are sitting, I don't even know what day. It's Wednesday, I think, today, right?
It is Wednesday, middle of the week.
Yeah,
it is hump day.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's been 5 sleeps, I guess, technically 6 days since he's gotten here. And yeah, the sleeping is different, obviously, a little less of it, but at the same time, I wouldn't change it for a world. Like, you know what? I don't care. I wouldn't sleep if I needed to, kind of thing, ever again, because it's just incredible. And like I said, just hats off again to the NICU. If you guys want to learn more, we had a full podcast last week about it. But yeah, it's been incredible. And it's kind of weird running this podcast too with a little one. We obviously have fallen behind a little bit in our written content. I think I've had a draft from you sitting in the email inbox for a couple days. So it's one of those things. It's going to be baby steps, literally, but we're getting there. So, you are muted. You're the muted one this time.
I messed up the muted button. I have a muted button on my mic, so it's like
okay,
bang,
yeah.
bang. But yeah, it's been weird the last few weeks.
Weird
Definitely.
for you or me?
Both of us been busy. We've all had sleep deprived nights and crazy days, and it's endless. And winter's on the way, and
it was funny. You texted me. Yeah, you texted me the other day, like other morning, and like randomly, really early in the morning. I feel like that was like you just testing the waters to see if I was awake. Yes, I was awake at that moment. It's like 20 minutes after you text me, I was like, oh, let's change a diaper. But Avery, hey, buddy, someone's awake right now. Well, at least it works, right?
It does.
Yeah, exactly. But this week, I took the week off from the interview. Avery, you took the reins and did the entire interview. Congratulations and thank you. Tell us a little bit more about it before we get right into it.
Yes, of course. We welcomed new kids on your mom. They will explain the name in the interview, I promise you. There is an E at the top of this episode, just a warning prior to people listening if you're listening with the kids in the vehicle. But yeah, it's a blast. MileyMo and Kirky J and I had a fantastic time, also known as Miles and Kirk Morrison. And we just talked about Saskatchewan things, how they come up with their comedy, how they came up with their latest musical project, and who they've met along the way during this whole encounter, and how it kind of came to fruition during the pandemic. So, and they've had some wicked encounters with chicken cobras and stuff in the past in the city where would not be allowed in today's world. So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear it, and I'm sure the people are too. So let's chuck it right over here after our ads. Here it is. The Saskatchewan Podcast Network is supported by Connexus. Does money spark joy in your life or cause you stress? If you said stress, you're not alone. For 42% of Canadians, their biggest stressor comes from money. At Connexus, they care about your financial well-being. Money doesn't have to be stressful, and Connexus is here to help. The Connexus #MoneyTalk blog provides expert advice, tips, and solutions for all life stages and events. Getting married, buying a house, budgeting, saving, they cover it all and more. And did I mention it's free? Check it out today at ConnexusMoneyTalk.ca and start feeling confident and stress-free about your money. The Saskatchewan Podcast Network is supported by Direct West. Are you a business owner looking for new avenues to promote your business? Direct West digital billboards are a great opportunity to highlight a new product, new promotion, or anything else you'd like your customers to know about. You can get local expert marketing help for your business at directwest.com.
Slept in late, nearly 6 o'clock, with my Velcro shoes and compression socks. Put my teeth back in, shuffle down the hall. I'm old as fuck, but I'm young at heart. I'm finishing a puzzle with a couple of tarts. And if I play my cards right and you catch my lingo, I'll be taking both of these birds out to bingo.
And today we're bringing on a comedy music group out of Saskatoon. Please do welcome Miles and Kirk Morrison.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Yeah, happy to have you guys. And you guys are MileyMo and Kirky J, also known as New Kids on Your Mom. Can you explain that name for us, please?
We had sex with everyone's moms consensually, and we thought, we should name our band after that. So we did.
Well, that makes sense. So obviously you guys are a comedy music group. Can you give us an idea as to what that means and what you guys do on a day-to-day basis?
So I'm a stand-up comedian. I've been doing comedy for 15 years, and I've been to Just for Laughs and that kind of stuff. And during the pandemic, there was none of those live shows going on. And so we had written a couple songs and we thought we should try and record this and see how it goes. So we just started writing, and one thing led to another, and we just started making all these ridiculous rap songs. And I thought they turned out pretty good. And so we just kept working away. And basically we were just talking about this. We're essentially trying to write like honest rap songs, because there's so much rap that's like so fake and that big bravado. And we're like, it's kind of funny to sing about like going to the bar in your 30s and not wanting to have sex after the night. You just want to get nachos and go to bed, So
people like honest music.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, it is very relatable music, I find, that you guys write.
Right on.
Yeah, we just try and write about stuff that we know and has actually happened to us.
Yeah,
and that's what keeps it more authentic, I guess.
That's awesome. So can you tell me guys a little bit about yourselves? Are you guys originally from Saskatoon, from out of Saskatoon? What's the story?
Both born and raised here.
Yeah.
I've been doing comedy a long time, and so I've lived in Los Angeles and Toronto and done stand-up full time for many years, but Saskatoon's home, so I moved back a long time ago, and and just do it out of here. So I still am at least busy with stand-up when there's not a pandemic, and doing a couple of comedy festivals and that kind of thing. But that's about it for me.
I moved away for about 7 months for a girl, and then I moved to Lethbridge, Alberta, and it's super windy there, and I didn't like it, so I moved back. And I've been here ever since.
Yeah.
Nice. So Miles, I guess winters in LA and Toronto probably a lot less harsh than here, hey?
Yeah, well, LA especially, but Toronto is like, it's very wet, and I know that like that's like the thing to say in Saskatchewan. As I was like, well, it's -40, but at least it's dry cold, and everybody's, you know what I mean? Like that's our silver lining. But in Toronto, it's like there's a lot of humidity there, and so it's, man, I don't know, it does cool you to the bone. I found it just as cold as living in Saskatchewan. It's a little different, but we like to pride ourselves that we can make it through the winter without calling in the army. But that said, I don't want to be in either place during the winter, basically.
Yeah.
Get as far south as you possibly can, right?
Yeah. We go to the mountains a lot, actually. We drive out to like Banff and Jasper and snowboard through the whole winter. That's how we get through it. So
nice. So is Lethbridge winters any different than Saskatchewan's? Are they very similar?
They're a lot more mild, for sure.
Are they?
Yeah.
In what way? Like less windy, less snow?
less cold.
Less cold. Yeah, you get lots of Chinooks there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you probably see a lot more Crocs and shorts than during the wintertime, hey?
Yeah. That classic Alberta fashion.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess growing up in Saskatchewan, what do you guys do? Did you guys play sports or anything like that? Anything big back in the school days or university stuff like that?
Lots of baseball. Yeah. We caused a lot of trouble growing up. We were I mean, you don't make a comedy album like this if you weren't a bit of a little shit disturber when you were little, right? So
bit of a badass.
Yeah.
We kept our parents on their toes.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of we did a lot of we were 80s kids, right? So we were the last generation with no rules. You know what I mean? It was just get out of the house and we'll see you when the street lights come on. Right?
No phones, no internet. So
Yeah.
it's just like, let's go start some shit.
Yeah. And we would just we'd ride our bikes all day with plastic guns, and that's like before they had the orange cap on the end, so they looked real. And we would, shoot them at cars, and they'd stop and swerve and freak out, and
You did that nowadays, you'd get 911 called on you, right?
Oh, everything that we did every day would have made the news now.
Would have made a news story somewhere, someplace.
Yeah, like nothing was like proper back then, or politically correct or anything like that. It was just that is
awesome. So tell me a little bit more about the crew you guys got. Obviously there's you two, but then I looked at your guys' website. DJ Eggshell, is he the addition? Is he other side of your guys' operation?
Yeah, he handles the music side, so we're kind of the comedy side. And like Kirk has sells himself short, but he's kind of been behind the scenes of my comedy through the years, and we've worked on a ton of like short films together and comedy sketches and
a children's book.
Yeah, wrote a children's book together and stuff. And so we've got pretty good backing together for the comedy side. And then DJ Eggshell has come. He's a mysterious guy. We did this whole thing like over Zoom with him, and we would just collaborate. And he's got all the connections. He knows all the producers and all the. He hooked us up with our mixer and masterer, and they're just really talented guys who have worked with. So Matt Facca did the mixing on this, and he's worked with New Jacobin Club and Alex Bent, and just like a bunch of big local bands. And then Trevor Case did the mastering, and he's worked with like Kelly Clarkson, Alicia Cara, and Missy Elliott, yeah. and then he was working on New Kids on Your Mom. It's just crazy. So
we just met
Matt Facca, and we recorded, or not recorded, but we took out the vocals of our tracks so that we can have just the instrumentals for doing live shows now.
Okay.
And so we got to meet him and sit down and go through that, and that was a ton of fun. But we haven't even met Trevor. It was one of those true pandemic 21st century kind of projects where we did it all online and just met a bunch of cool people like that.
For sure. I guess let's go to before the pandemic, which seems like a fucking eternity. Let's go to where you guys are doing comedy shows and writing this children's book and so on and so forth. What was that experience like? And give us a rundown on that.
The good old days where every weekend we'd be I'd be on tour and, flying out to go do shows, which just seems like unheard of now. And we had a bus. And so actually just before this, we were shooting a documentary. We can't tell you too much about it because it's still in the works for when we kind of actually come out of this pandemic. But we have a tour bus, and we were doing shows across Western Canada and filming it all for this documentary. And Kirk was on the film crew for that. Mm-hmm. And we were basically just touring around, a bunch of comedians on a bus, and filming dumb stuff during the day in like small town, just the behind the scenes that nobody gets to see. They just see us on stage. And so this was all the kind of behind the curtains kind of stuff, and it was super fun. And we're filming a pilot for that next summer, and so we're pretty excited about that. And that's COVID depending, I guess. But I had done Just for Laughs for the first time, and I had been offered the CBC Halifax Comedy Festival and 2 TV tapings for that just before the pandemic. And then that was all canceled. And so it was a good time right up until that. And then as soon as the pandemic hit, everyone stayed inside for a few months. And then we started doing like backyard shows. It was pretty weird to come off of these huge shows where we're doing at least 300 people every show, and some of them a lot bigger than that. And then to all of a sudden spend three months at home was, I think the longest break I had ever taken from comedy was about a month. And then all of a sudden now we're taking like 6 months, and then coming out and doing like 30 people in a backyard, and they got a fire pit, and and you're not allowed to touch anything or shake anyone's hand. And it's like, all right, well, this is a little different, but they were super fun. Every show I've done since this has been awesome because people are so in need of any kind of entertainment, because apparently, Tiger King and Squid Game didn't do it for them enough. So
Yeah, those were the two highlights over the last year and a bit, right?
That's bleak, man. That is bleak.
Oh, it's rough. But yeah, like, I guess obviously there was the transition between stand-up comedy and then getting into the album.
Yeah, we found it pretty challenging because I was working out of town at the time. I was about 7 hours away. So in my spare time after working like a 12-hour day, I would sit down after dinner and try and be creative and come up with these lyrics for all these songs. And then we would kind of call each other once a week, kind of just to touch base, and then kind of go over our notes and see where we were at, where we could improve on some of the songs or what needed to change.
Yeah, we get together and just kind of like punch up each other's ideas and try and make them funnier and stuff. And but yeah, we wrote a lot of it
while away.
Yeah, but like on our own. And then I say, I'm going to take this idea, and I think it's, I got an idea to just write an entire song about a guy eating a bowl of chicken soup.
I'm just going to run with it.
Yeah. And so I would take off for the week, and he'd go do, he wrote the country one, and he's like, I want to write a song about a guy getting the crap beat out of him. And I was like, all right. And so then we'd go in our separate ways, and then the end of the week we'd meet up, and then we'd just like, okay, well, I like this and this, and I don't like this, and this can be funnier. And we'd kind of hash out all those lines, and then usually a couple of those sessions, and then we'd have
we'd have something
that resembled the final song, at least.
Yeah. So. I found it challenging, very challenging, because after like a long day like that and being like sleep deprived, I was just ready to hit the bed, And once I got back into town, that's when I kind of caught up on sleep, and then the creative juices started flowing. And
I'd spent 3 months at home. I was bored to death, and I had written a movie script for the sake of doing it, and so I finished that, and then we started working on this, and so we just wrote, and that was like our way of getting through a few months with something to do. And so we just kept writing, and the more we did, the more we liked it. So
pretty crazy. So I guess when it comes to the end goal, like, do you guys have other things in the works, future songs that you guys probably have a whole notebook of songs written? Hey,
we've probably got enough ideas to make 2 more albums, but we want to whittle it down to make like one
like solid, very funny one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we're just kind of ruminating those ideas right now, but we got actually it's kind of funny because we applied for a few grants, and I'm not a musician by background, so we didn't really know what to expect. And comedy isn't recognized as a art form in Canada, which is something that we're working towards because we're not eligible for grants and stuff. So I'm not used to that side. And so we applied for a few, and we got all of them that we applied for. And so we got money to make more music videos, which we're excited about, from Creative Saskatchewan. And then today we just got approved for a Factor Canada grant by like the government of Canada. So we're definitely going to continue. It's an artist development grant. And so we get to work on more stuff and not have it all come out of our pocket, which is pretty cool.
Whatever we're doing, I think we're on the right track.
Yeah, people seem to be drawn to it. So
for sure, people do seem to be drawn to it. And let's talk about Optimistic, your guys' most recent album release. Can you tell us when that dropped and what it kind of entails, what the whole story behind it is?
We were looking up just like a way to sum up the album, because we wrote these all as individual songs that we just thought were funny. But so the album dropped October 24th, Optimistic. We called it that because we felt that every song has a bit of a silver lining, kind of tongue-in-cheek grin to it, I guess, if I could say that. Even though the topics are ridiculous, we're aware. As we were writing, we wrote one song and we finished writing it. We went, that's not going to make the album. It's not dumb enough. So you knew where our bar was set of what we wanted to put on the album. And then, so we finished it. We thought that it's really got like this kind of optimistic tone. And we thought, what about just like a picture of us grinning like idiots with the world just burning down on fire behind us? And so we thought that's kind of a perfect, like, ignorance is bliss. And it's kind of how we were through the pandemic. We were happy. We were writing. We were in good spirits while the world was burning down behind us. So we thought it's kind of a good metaphor for what's happening right now. So
yeah, it does look very apocalyptic in that album photo for sure. I love it, guys. The first song that you sent me over Facebook Messenger was "Damn It Feels Good to Be a Senior." Can you tell us a little bit about what that one is about?
Yeah, so that's the first one we wrote, and
that was about 4 years ago we wrote that.
Yeah, and the idea was just it'd be funny to write a gangster rap about old people.
Let's do something that no one has done before.
Yeah, that was the goal. It was just I want to just write something that I've never heard before.
Yeah,
and I've never heard people rapping about how awesome it is to be old and just like banging old chicks in the nursing home and like riding around on your little rascal scooter. And so we
and like keep it like that old school hip hop that we grew up with.
Yeah, we love like Run DMC and Beastie Boys, and
love
like
it.
You can absolutely tell when you listen to this that was like the influence behind it. So yeah, we put it all in there, everything that we makes us laugh about old people, and just try to own it, not like make fun of them or anything. We think it's hilarious just to be that, like, just old and confident, So
Exactly.
Yeah,
that makes total sense, guys. So I got a few questions about the music video. When it came to the seniors, there was a bunch of different faces in there. Were they relatives? Were they just random people? Or how did you get a hold of these people? Like, hey, we want to get you on camera.
Yeah. We thought about that. We thought about my grandparents are actually in a Sheepdogs music video.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We interviewed them too.
Yeah. I can't. Saturday Night is the song by the Sheepdogs. My grandparents are in it. They're like chugging beers in the background and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's the guy with the wizard stick.
Yeah. But we thought, no, we can't ask them for this. It's too over the line kind of thing. And in our grandparents' heads, we're still sweet young boys. So we want to try and keep that illusion going. So no, it was just stock footage. We got it off the internet. We just typed in old people dancing, and we just bought a bunch of clips.
So when it came down to the point where you guys are on the scooters and you guys are feeding the geese, did any of those damn chicken cobras attack you at all during the recording of this video?
No, but I think it's because we had so much bread.
Yeah, we probably had like 4 or 5 loaves of bread.
Yeah,
so they were happy.
Oh, we were like Santa Claus to them.
We had them eating out of our hands.
Yeah. But I've been attacked before. They're the worst. So.
Oh, have you? Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Oh, cornered me at the zoo. I don't know. Where are you from?
I'm from Saskatchewan. I've been to the zoo in Saskatoon.
Okay, yeah, the forestry farm. There's a little dock that goes out to the middle of the pond for any Saskatchewan listeners and one followed me on there. And like a total chicken, I climbed the fence and tried to get around it on the outside of the dock fence. And it followed me and hissed and batted at me and stuff. And I had to try to kind of kick it away. And of course, it's our national bird, but it was a close call, but I eventually got away.
Oh man, those are mean buggers. That's crazy. Did you rent those scooters then?
Yeah. We
That's
told them
awesome.
they were they were for our grandparents.
And they didn't even question it.
No, they're like, oh, well, that's nice of you. So,
good for you guys for coming to get them for them. Yeah, that's funny stuff.
We found out afterwards that they did have other scooters to rent, so we didn't actually like prevent any old people from using them for the weekend or something. So we felt good about that.
So the next song I wanted to ask you about is If Mom's Rapped. Now, is this kind of like the traditional Sasky mom doing what they do on a day-to-day basis?
I think so. Yeah. 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 It's a homage to all of those women that have a couple glasses of wine and all sound the same.
Oh, that's awesome. So then obviously you guys are all sitting in a table at a table together. Like, is that in your guys' home, or is that in a place that hasn't been purchased yet that you guys just rented out for a day?
Yeah, well, kind of. It was a friend of ours' house, and so we put him up in a hotel for the day, and so that we could use his place. And it was kind of last minute. We knew we had to we wanted it to come out with the album at the same time, and so we were on a pretty tight time crunch for that. So we put them up in a hotel, and I think they went water sliding for the day, and we came in quick, set up all the lights, and that's why we have those long shots of us walking in, is because we didn't have time to film more clips of us, going back and forth and stuff. So we kind of made a whole guerrilla game plan of how to get it shot really fast. And then I think we had a week to edit it, which was also pretty quick. And then we also called up the bowling alley, and we weren't sure if we were going to have time for that or not, but they were like, you can come early in the morning, we'll open up specifically for you so no one else is there. You can set up all the lights you want, and anything you want you can have, and it's all for free, and just put our name on it or whatever. And we're like, okay. So
I was gonna ask about the bowling alley. That's Hunter's Eastview Bowling Alley. Hey,
that's right. Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
We phoned them and we're like, hey, can we shoot a music video in there? And we fully expected them to be like, no, go away. They were awesome. So
really, that's awesome, because I looked at the interior. I'm like, okay, I think I've been to this bowling alley before. And I just Google mapped it, and I was like, okay, this is the one. And of course, it was the last one that I clicked on Google Maps. Right? My goodness. But so are there any other music videos in the works that you guys are kind of thinking about for the current album, or are you guys waiting until the next album?
Yeah, no, we want to do one for the Chicken Soup for the Rapper's Soul to come out with American Thanksgiving, I think is the plan.
Yeah.
So we gotta get working on that right away here.
Some is like weather dependent, so we kind of have to wait until almost next spring so we can start shooting outdoors again.
Any projects set for -40 temperatures or anything like that?
Yeah, we gotta start writing songs about having snotsicles and that kind of stuff.
Scraping the car.
Yeah, then we can film the music videos 8 months of the year.
Exactly. And eyelashes being frozen together, right? All that sort of stuff. My goodness. So when it comes to the projects that you guys have worked on so far, which ones are you guys most proud of? Each of you.
We worked on a couple short films that worked out really well. We did one called Office Protocol that was a short film that we got nominated for Best Comedy Short Film at the Yorkton Film Awards, and then it played at a couple the Canada Shorts Film Festival and the Calgary Comedy Festival. And so that was kind of neat that it got played around a little bit or whatever.
I'm super proud of just the process of recording Damn, It Feels Good to Be a Senior, as well as making the music video for it. I think I don't know.
It was our first song music video ever.
Yeah, so it's pretty high quality stuff for what you guys work with. I'm sure that you guys try to keep it as low budget as possible, and you guys make it such great quality, which is unreal.
Yeah, we've got a lot of talented friends that work behind the scenes. It's not just us doing it. So we've got John Miller, who's an amazing videographer, and like I say, DJ Eggshell is an unbelievable producer, and so
he has the most in tune ear I've ever came across. He can hear stuff that I never thought of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, just, can you hear that? And it's nothing. It's just crickets. And he's like, there's two people having sex a block and a half away, and you're like, wow, so good.
Yeah, this is his eye for detail in the audio spectrum. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So they make us look good, which is pretty cool. But you hear about musicians that like, you know, they've written 1,000 songs before they ever like, you know, get one out there and you know, make albums and stuff. I'm sure Taylor Swift's first song wasn't as good as "Damn It Feels Good to Be a Senior," you know.
So, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask the process about making a music video. So obviously, like, there's certain scenes that you do. How many takes does that sometimes take? Like, does it take sometimes a few days? Does it take a whole day?
We do like a run through, and sometimes it takes like 5 to 10 tries to get the one take.
The hair flip out of the water. If mom's wrapped.
That took a few.
You have to have that perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or whereas like other things that we would do in our music videos, we would get it the first try.
Yeah. It's
So,
like, that's good enough. You know,
yeah.
we're good. We both come from sort of a short film background, so we get it. And so we know you know, Kirk's figured out the costumes, you know, like a week or two in advance. And then I've done all the storyboarding and actually like, we'll actually draw out like what we want for each scene kind of thing.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So this is the walkthrough of the house. And this is handing over this is for you. I've never made it before. It's from that girl at work. That's a bit of a horror. And so we kind of
have a blueprint of what we're going to do.
Yeah. So when we get to the site, we've already had a Zoom call with the videographer and he's seen all this. And so, you know, he's got an idea of, there's still plenty of room for improv and play, but you got to have a skeleton going in. Otherwise you're going to be lost the day of, right? So
For sure. How much of it is improv? I got to ask.
25 to 50% somewhere.
Oh,
in
yeah.
there.
Because you just think of stuff like off the top of your head. You're like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we did this? And then it's like, yeah, that'd be great. And then like sometimes it makes it in and it's awesome.
We brought all that bread with us because we're like, it'd be funny to just make it look like we were feeding ducks at a pond or whatever. But then all those ducks were there. We're like, well, now we got to do it, you know? Like, so it was sort of half planned, but we didn't think it'd go that well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I thought maybe there would be like one or two, but there was like hundreds.
Yeah. There's shots, I don't think they made it in the video, but there's B-roll of it where you can tell we look a bit nervous because there's so many coming after us. We're like, we're starting to run out of bread. Let's get out of here.
So were there any baby geese at that point when you were doing that?
No, there wasn't. Yeah.
You got to be thankful for that because they definitely would have attacked you.
Oh yeah, for sure. We wouldn't be here today.
We would be talking in this moment right now. So let's take it a little bit back here. Obviously you guys did stand-up comedy. We talked about that earlier. You guys talked about performing in small towns. Did you guys perform in like small Saskatchewan towns? What's the smallest town you guys performed in?
I did New Year's one year in Rama, Saskatchewan. I think that's out by Yorkton somewhere. I think there's maybe 50 people in that town, but it was actually super fun. All the farmers and everyone that lives around there came in for the show. They have a hall. Every small town has a hall.
Everyone's got a community hall, right?
Yeah, and they all hold like 200 people. So it was packed. So there's 200 people for that whole area came in for that show, and it was super fun. So I did a show the summer before the pandemic in Honeymoon, Saskatchewan, which is north of Prince Albert. And there's no town there anymore, but the hall is still there. So same thing, that whole area just supports that hall and stuff. So I've been all over Saskatchewan. I've been all over, well, Canada, but you know, mainly Western Canada because I'm based out of here. But yeah, we've done every nook and cranny of this place, and we love it here. So
yeah, it's funny because Rama's like an hour away from me right now because I live in Yorkton.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
that's where I'm at. So what's the difference of performing in a small town to a big city?
You got to check your local references, and maybe you can get away with a little more like, you know, drinking and fighting and sex jokes or whatever in like a small town. Those are kind of the staple three, you know, drinking, fighting, and screwing. That material is always going to work in a small town. You know what I mean? And then like when I did Just for Laughs, you know, we were in, it was at JFL 42 in Toronto. And we were at the same theater that they filmed The Shape of Water that won the Oscar it's that big, beautiful theater. And it was really like your best, most, kind of clever, kind of A-list showcase jokes. I mean, I'm not going to make fun of the sign in Tisdale or something like that in Toronto. You know what I mean?
know
Like
that the city of Tisdale wants to leave that in the past.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, I mean, but for the most part, we talk about pretty relatable stuff, and there's not really too much comedy that we do that doesn't travel well. I've seen jokes, especially about the riders and that kind of stuff, that like comics will go up and crush with here, but if they went and did that even in Winnipeg, it's not going to get as good of a laugh. But the stuff that we try and focus on, we try and keep it not very political and pretty timeless.
So, Kirk, what is your kind of story of being the behind the scenes guy making everything happen for Miles?
Well, I mean, I've tried stand up a couple times, but I get pretty nervous in front of like large crowds. So that's why I like being the behind the scenes guy. I don't know. Me and Miles, we work like super good together. Mm-hmm. We can just kind of like bounce ideas off each other, and
we have that brotherly connection where we don't have to spend a lot of time explaining why it's a good idea or why it's funny. We both get it immediately. He was just telling me an idea today, and I was like, yeah, let's do, like, you don't have to go on about it. Let's just do that. It's funny. Yeah.
Write it down, star it, highlight it, whatever you got to do, right?
And then, well, it'll take some time to germinate and start growing. But yeah, like we get what topics we want to tackle. And so it's very easy that way. There's no wasted time spent on like, well, what should we do? And, well, is that a good idea? And like, no, we both just get it immediately. And that's really nice. So
that being said, I'm going to have to, start like facing my fears and get a little bit more comfortable on stage. Because we're gonna be starting to do live shows here.
We're having an album release party at Capitol Music Club in Saskatoon, 7:00, November 26th. We're opening for the very hilarious Kathleen McGee, which is a super funny comic from Edmonton. And it's gonna be our first live show as New Kids on Your Mom. And so we've been rehearsing for that, and we're gonna crush it. I mean,
this is all we've been listening to for like the past, 4 months.
Yeah. So it's gonna be pretty cool. I was already doing stand-up full-time and living in Toronto when Kirk started stand-up. So I saw his first show, and it was super fun, and he's hilarious. But then he was going on and touring around kind of Saskatchewan and Alberta and stuff. But I was already in Ontario, so I never got to see any of that. And so this will be our first time on stage together. And so I'm really excited to do that. And it's weird. You write these songs in kind of a bubble, and then, you get messages once you release the videos of people that are like, it's funny. And you're like, well, that's good. But this would be cool to get the actual feedback from the audience
right away.
See if they're, if they're digging it or if they're horrified or, whatever it's going to be. So, but
that's awesome. Well, hey, Kirky, I mean, there's a reason I talk in a room in front of a mic rather than in front of a mic in front of a bunch of people, right? The same thing here. So when it comes to Saskatchewan humor, how much of it is inspiration for your guys' content, whatever it is you guys are creating?
I don't think there's anything that we write that's like it has to sound like it's from Saskatchewan or anything like that. But I think it's just our roots, so it seeps into things that we do. Like the country song, for example, right?
Yeah.
So Kirk wrote that, but I mean, like, what person?
I don't know anything about being a country boy.
No, we're hardcore city boys, but everyone in Saskatchewan listens to country music, and us included.
Yeah. So I'm like, if I can pull this off and make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's funny. You guys could probably hop on a farm like for a day just to get kind of like the full-fledged experience, like get in a combine, go prod a cow a little bit, maybe do a few things with them, right? And just be like, okay, well, let's make this a song, right? The song that you guys wrote with If Mom's Wrapped, that had such a Canadian vibe to it. I think that related with more than just with people in Saskatchewan for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's mom is, she's got those friends that, they got the hot gossip and you got to hear it. So
we had one of our friends listen to it and she was like, oh my God, like I relate to everything in this song.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
That was awesome.
Good feedback to hear.
But it's been cool because we've gotten messages from lots of like new moms and like, like mid-20s and that kind of thing, and like people that are pregnant right now that were like messaging us like, this is great, love it, like it's so hilarious and relatable. And then we also got messages from like our mom's friends and like our aunt and like kind of that older generation than us that was still like, yep, nailed it. Like,
well, you gotta feel good when you hit the nail right on the head, right?
Our whole goal too was like, we didn't want to make fun of anybody. We just wanted to point out like funny situations and scenarios and make kind of funny characters that in our songs that people will still relate to and like. And I mean, I don't think there's any denying that there's, that gossipy mom character is just funny, and there is a lot of people like that. That person definitely exists.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm wondering, are you guys familiar with the song "Out for a Rip" by Shark Tank? Yeah. You guys remind me so much of that group, and it's freaking awesome. I love it because I remember listening to that music video back when I was back in high school, and I heard your guys' song "If Mom's Wrapped," and it brought me right back to that moment, which was freaking
that's awesome.
I loved it. Certain things in Canada that will stick with people here that people in every other country will not understand, right? Yeah. And that's exactly what you guys are doing.
Oh, cool, man. That's I take that as a compliment. And that's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Honestly, I'm surprised how fast I blew through these questions. I wrote them down. I was like, that's good enough. But no, I've got everything that I wanted to ask you guys. Are you guys on TikTok or anything like that?
We are. We're going to be launching that and making a lot of content for that coming up here right away.
Oh, you guys are going to frickin' crush that app. I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
Thanks, man.
For sure. So this is the moment in the podcast or in the interview where we give you guys the floor. Promote what you guys want to promote. Where can people find you? What do you guys got coming up? What content you guys got out there that people can watch, listen to, so on and so forth. The floor is yours, guys.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we got if you're in the Saskatoon area, come to our album release party at Capitol Music Club with Kathleen McGee. She's hilarious. She's done Just for Laughs and all that stuff a million times. She's super funny, and she's actually, when I first started comedy 15 years ago, me and her did the Parktown Yuck Yucks in Saskatoon together. She was like the comic that I looked up to when I started. So now it's pretty cool that we get to open up for her for our first show as a comedy band. So November 26th, tickets are available through Capitol Music Club and on Facebook, Capitol Music Club's Facebook page.
They're $15 for good entertainment. It's worth it.
Yeah. It's less than sponsoring 16 children.
Yeah.
So
cheap like boards.
And then, we got our website, newkidsonyourmom.com. We're on Instagram. We're going to be launching our TikTok right away here. It's at New Kids on Your Mom. And we're going to be putting tons of content on there. That's it. Just stay tuned. We got more music videos coming out. So click, subscribe, delete,
thumbs up,
Control Alt Delete _ underscore.
Peace out.
Yeah. Block us. Whatever you got to do.
Awesome. Thank you guys for hopping on the pod. Really appreciate it. You guys are officially a friend of the podcast. Can't wait to have you guys on again sometime soon.
Right on, man. Thanks for having us. This is fun.
It's nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Hi, hello. How you doing then? You're about to hear a rap from your mom's best friend. My husband's at work and the kids are at school, and I'm heading over. Let's soak our feet in the pool. We're due for a visit. It has been forever, and I finally have no plans whatsoever. So, come on. What do you say?
And we are coming back to the LLP Get Together. Avery, how are you feeling after that interview?
Pretty darn good. It was a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. And yeah, it was kind of a moment where you lose track of time, where you're having so much fun, where you're having so much fun, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of laughs, a lot of giggles, a lot of smiles. And yeah, I wish nothing but for the best of these guys. I'm hoping we can get them back on at some point, because they're a lot of fun to talk to, and I'm hoping you can meet them next time.
Yeah,
Brady.
I'd like to meet them too, obviously. Again, sorry for not being here. Like we said, things are weird right now. But yeah, Avery, we're going to get right into the get together this week. So you have right off the top, scraping windshields. What are you talking about this week, Avery?
Well, I've been scraping my windshield. Well, I haven't been scraping my windshield, but I know a lot of people have. I've been very lazy with it the last few days.
This is your reminder right now, actually, before we get things going, to put the scraper in the car so you don't end up with a credit card or a Tim's card scraping off your window, because I'm sure I will get to that point sometime in this winter, or like this fall, whatever we're in right now.
Or you'd be like the people in Texas, where if you broke the one from last year and just left it, you'd be using a spatula. Because people in Texas
works.
Yeah, people in Texas didn't have snow scrapers. They don't have snow plows. No. When they got that snowfall last year, they were using spatulas to scrape their windshields.
Yeah, you know how lazy I am, and this is. I don't know if this is literally something that you'd consider a life hack, because I think it's widely known. But when you're jumping in your car, just give it a little squirt with the, whatever it's called.
That's
and you can just drive off. Like,
that's what I've been doing the entire week. However, when you get to -40, it's a completely different story.
That's true. That's true, because you don't want it to freeze, and then you get the frozen wipers too. But at this time of the year, you can do that, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing the entire time. I've been waking up at 4:30.
Yeah,
10 minutes before I have to leave, and shoveling down a granola bar. And
what if you hit a train?
Out the door, I should say.
What if you hit a train?
Hit a train?
Like, not physically hit a train, but if you're driving on the way to work and you hit a train, is that going to set you back a lot in Yorkton, Saskatchewan?
Oh, well, you know what? I live right along the tracks.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're on the good side of you're not the good side of the tracks, but the right side of the tracks, to not be
so I'm on
situation.
I'm on the west side of the tracks.
Okay.
And the station is on the east side of the tracks.
All right.
But I have never encountered a train in the morning. Never ever at the time that I have to head to work. So that is a good sign. Maybe the train will not show up at the time that I have to. Mm-hmm. However, we shall wait until daylight savings time, because that may change. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess
everyone's clock kind of changes. Everyone's time zones change.
Are you excited for that? Are you excited for that? Because like in Yorkton, you have to do both, right?
Yeah, we have to talk about Manitoba.
And
we have to. We try to include Manitoba in the club. We want them to be a part of the gang,
of course.
But yeah, like we have mentioned it a few times. We're just reminding people in Manitoba, be ready for it on Sunday. Especially for those who have to work in the morning, because you better set your alarms at the proper time.
Man, like the one year I was working in Dauphin, I worked the morning shift too. And like this time change screwed me. Like it was the one in the middle of winter where instead of waking up at like God knows what time, it was like God knows what time minus 1 hour. Like I remember waking up that morning and being like, oh no, like legitimately it hit me, and it was like, this sucks. This absolutely sucks.
And I do remember some of my alarm clocks back in the day, they had the automatic setting
Oh, that's the worst. Why would you
And-
like?
And you'd wake up, you'd be like, okay, it's time to get up. And you'd roll out of bed and get downstairs. And all of a sudden it's like 6 a.m. I don't have to get up for another hour. What the hell?
Yeah,
What's going on?
yeah,
What the heck's
exactly.
going on?
It's the worst. But we're gonna move right along. No more bugs soon.
Well, the thing is, Brady, I've found multiple maple bugs in my basement suite.
Multiple maple bugs. Yes, maple bugs suck. Hey.
They do. It's funny because I looked up their purpose. They do eat a lot of plants.
Mhm.
They eat a lot of sweets that are on the ground, supposedly. But yeah, they are everywhere in my apartment. Apparently, they're flying around too. I didn't know they flew, which scared the crap out of me one day when I was cooking lunch. I was like,
Oh, really?
what the hell is flying around my apartment? And yeah, sure as hell, it was a maple bug. So I was caught off guard by that.
I always remember going to my aunt's in the north end of Regina, and like my entire life just being cognizant of these maple bugs because they were friggin' everywhere. And I don't remember them too much in Katepwa, not too much in Balcarres, but even when I moved back to like the north end of Regina, when I was going through university and everything, it was like, I remember you, like you guys everywhere, and it is right back. But obviously they're everywhere, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, nothing in Manitoba, I don't think, though, because Sage was a little weirded out about the maple bugs.
Really? Has she never seen them in Manitoba?
Maybe it's something like gopher. Did you know that Manitoba doesn't have gophers?
Well, no wonder Gainer's our mascot.
Yeah. That, like,
Well,
that's
why did the Red
crazy-
Blacks want them then? Are they all over Ottawa or what?
What?
They
Gophers?
so when the Red Blacks first became a franchise,
Mhm.
they offered a trade for Gainer.
I think that was a social media thing, Avery.
Was it a social media thing?
I think so.
I
I
gotta
would
look
see
this
that.
up.
But like I think it's just Western Canada that, like, not Western Canada, but like west of Manitoba. Because it's like a belt down to Brandon where these gophers are. And I remember Sage always tells this story. She's driving down to Saskatchewan for the first time and sees one of the gophers like dart over. And you know, when you're driving down the highway and you see a gopher dart over, it's like pretty tough to get out of the way sometimes.
Yeah,
And, like,
especially if there's
yeah.
oncoming traffic, you can't avoid it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you hate to hit an animal, but it's your life over theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
And I hate to say it at the same time, but my God, when you have to go
Exactly.
down the highway and there's an animal crossing the road and all of a sudden there's a semi oncoming, it's like, I'm sorry, little guy, but it's over.
Yeah, not much you can do. Well, what is kind of nice about driving is there is no snow on the ground. Usually we do have snow on the ground at this time of the year, obviously, but I'm liking it. Like, I'm a little worried though, because remember last year when we had absolutely no snow and then it all came at once?
Yep, I do remember that.
That's the only thing I'm really worried about with this no snow, but I'm loving life right now.
It's funny because I went to the gas station today, talked to the clerk. She's like, I'm so jacked up we don't have snow right now. I was like, me too. I am so jacked up about it as well. I'm not complaining one bit about it. And she was talking about how she could go for walks still. She could still take her dogs out and enjoy it and wear like one layer or two and enjoy the day. Whereas when the snow comes down all in one flow, it's absolutely unreal. And you're digging your car out of a snow bank, right? Like it's insane. I remember when I was in Humboldt last winter season, absolute insanity. We had to get a front end loader to empty out our parking lot out in our apartment building. We had to back our cars up. They had to clear out our parking spots. Then we had to pull them back up again. And then they had to clear out those spots. And it was absolute insanity. And we're trying to shovel our way out. And it's just crazy. It makes Saskatchewan what it is because everyone's helping each other get the hell out of their gutters, their ditches, whatever it is. But it does suck a ton.
Snowmageddon 2022. Let's go. I guess 2021 still, because that was 2020 last year. It was November 2020 where we had the Snowmageddon
in
Saskatoon and all of kind of the northern areas of Saskatchewan. But Avery, another thing I wanted to mention, and I don't know if you're participating. I'm badly participating in Movember this year. If you can,
I can
if
see
you
it.
can see it.
I can see it. I shaved on the 30th because the 31st I had stuff going on. But the 30th I did shave. I'm going to try and grow it out because, as you know, I am not a facial hair person.
I 100% cheated.
Did you?
On I think I grew for like a week. That's how bad my facial hair is. This is the one time of the year that we can like openly talk about having really bad facial hair, right? But yeah, I shaved it off on, I think it was Halloween night, and I was like, we'll go with it. Shh.
It's like
and
that
I just spurted it out to this, but
it's like that
fine.
commercial, the red, brown, gray, and red ones. Brr. The one on TV.
Yeah. Well,
That
if
one.
you guys do want to support men's mental health, I'm gonna throw this out here because he's a friend of the podcast. Benny Walchuk always runs a Mo Space every single year. Donate to him. Go to his Twitter. Just search Benny Walchuk. It's like Benny how it sounds, and Walchuk with no C at the end. UK.
Yes. It's
You know,
it's Wall with one less L, and then Chuck is in CHUK.
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna go a little bit on dad life too, I think.
Yeah. So Brady, how's the
Yeah.
dad life going? What's it like? I guess you have raised a newborn before, but what's it like now?
It's fun. It's a lot of learning too. But at the same time, we have had incredible support. Sage's aunt is up here from Manitoba. They all scurried off to different areas of the house so we can do this. So thank them both for doing that. But yeah, it's been wonderful, and you know what? The more hands, the better, obviously. But the little guy's growing like a weed already. Like we said, 6 days since he's kind of come home, and yeah, it's wouldn't change it for the world. Changing diapers, like we said at the end of the last episode, still can't smell, so it's kind of okay. But at this point, I've been told that the baby's poop don't smell that bad.
It's funny because I've changed many diapers throughout my lifetime.
Yeah, because you're an older brother, right?
I have 3 younger brothers, and it is a regular thing for me. I see, like, I haven't changed diapers in a very, very, very long time, Brady. I don't think it's been since grade 6.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know how old I would have been, but still, it's kind of like, holy lick, I don't know if I'll be ready for that as an adult still.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
It's been so long.
You will. You'll figure it out.
I think
quick.
I'll adapt.
Read
I'll
more
remember.
baby books than I did, though.
Hopefully,
but yeah,
I'm more prepared in a sense.
yeah.
Or I
Rhett,
can read the baby books beforehand, right?
yeah. Rhett has been absolutely incredible. He sleeps like a rock, too, making it a little bit easy on us. Obviously, like, you know, he doesn't have a very much of an internal clock right now. So when it comes to sleeping, you know, I've been staying up late, waking up periodically, but for the most part, he's been sleeping throughout the night, which I'm very, very thankful for.
Well, of course. And it's quite funny because when it comes to sleep, babies have their own clock, right? You really gotta work with it. You gotta manage with it as much as you can. You can't really plan your own day around it. Or, well, you can't really plan your own day, but you have to plan around it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. Everything that was old is new again as well. So yeah. Avery, let's transition. Let's do it. Let's go to the Rough Rider Corner.
Let's do it. All right. So Riders beat the Montreal Alouettes by a score of, let me just recap.
It was
here.
not a big
It's been a very long
score.
time. It was a very boring game. I remember missing the entire first half because I was bored out of my mind and I was hungry after my brothers had their playoff game over the weekend. The Riders ended up winning 19-14. So it was
I saw the fourth quarter again, another Huskies game. Should probably talk to someone at Canada West and be like, the scheduling. But yeah, I watched that last quarter and I was also bored. And I kept looking down at my phone also for the in-town, out-of-town scoreboards. And I was like, this game must be boring because it's still 3-0. But yeah, Avery, your overall thoughts.
Well, like I said, which will be later, will probably be by Thursday or Friday.
I'll get the Rough Rider write-up. Don't worry,
Okay.
Avery. It'll be out.
No worries. So the first half, pointless in more ways than one. No points, like not no points scored, but very, very minimum amount of points, and also a very pointless half. It was 7-3 by the end of halftime. 3 points were scored early on, and then all of a sudden it was back and forth, turnovers, sacks, so on and so forth. Riders scored before the end of the half, making it 7-3. And then it got a little interesting in the second half where you're kind of looking at the Riders. You're like, oh, like we're gaining a lead. We're getting momentum. It's looking real good. And then all of a sudden you see Trevor Harris come in and you're like, God, here we go.
Oh, remember him?
Yeah. Remember him? He was with Edmonton. He was with Edmonton and randomly traded because apparently he was useless to the Elks at this point. Now they have Arbuckle. But yeah, it didn't make sense to me for that trade. I mean, I think that they just don't have the right coach, the right general manager. I think that he was the right quarterback. They just don't fit his scheme. They just needed to get someone new in there. Anyway,
change because that team hasn't had enough of it.
Yeah, exactly. And they just, based on what I've heard around from people and podcasts and everything, it seems like the Elks seem like a toxic organization. Extremely toxic. It is unavoidable from players, from former coaches, everything, right? Mm-hmm. And it's absolutely insane. You heard it from Eddie Steele himself, and he got let go of it because of it, right? Yep. Absolute bull crap. And it's unfortunate. And that kind of tells you the story, where if someone's talking crap about you and all of a sudden you have to let them go because of it, it's a bad sign. And if everyone agrees with him, well, then he's on his own boat and everyone's going to hop on that boat with him. But yeah, anyway, back to the Saskatchewan-Montreal game. Trevor Harris, sorry, not Andrew Harris. Dodoy. He's been out for several weeks.
Different Harris.
Yes, different Harris. Trevor Harris jumps in, makes it a closer game. Riders still win it. And it's good, but it's not good enough. I mean, you'd like to win this game by a few points, especially without Vernon Adams. And also you have to look at this past week. There was a ton of injuries. You have Kyran Moore. You have Dukeel Williams. There was a few others, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know of any of those injuries, Brady? I don't have the list in front of me. Yeah.
I heard Kyran Moore's out for the year.
Is he?
That was announced today.
No. Of course, I leave my phone for like 4 hours and all of a sudden shit goes down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's tough.
Dan Clark is day-to-day, I believe.
Dan Clark, that was the other one.
Yeah.
That was the other one. Man, that sucks. Because like Kyran Moore looked really good against Calgary, especially with Dukeel and Shaq back, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, do you think the Riders would have enough at this point? Like, I know Kyran is perfect for the scheme, but at the same time, that opens up a door. Maybe shake and bake.
That's
true. He wasn't used much, was he, in Montreal, like against Montreal? I heard that. So maybe that's a door open that the Riders aren't exactly mad about, right? Obviously, it's disappointing. You never want to see someone get hurt, but at the same time, when one door closes, especially in the CFL, a league of 9, right? Yeah, just trying to keep things in perspective. The sky is not falling. We are not Edmonton.
No, we are not Edmonton. We have claimed a playoff spot, by the way. I should mention that. Thanks to the defense.
Why do you think the defense is the driver of this, Avery?
It seems like every single freaking year they send us to the playoffs. You think about the last season. Cam Judge returning a touchdown, clinching first place in the West. You think about the year prior to that where you had Chris Jones and all of a sudden you had the game against BC with Ed Gainey returning a touchdown, right? And it just keeps coming and coming, and it's like this defense is in the right spot. The offense just never seems to be, and I don't know why. Who do we need to get in town to make the offense click? Is it a new quarterback? Is it the offensive line? Is it the coordinator? I mean, I love Fajardo to the ends of the earth. However, I mean,
only said this in week 3.
That's true. I mean, my girlfriend brought it up. There was one play against Calgary where Fajardo got sacked, and I said, "Don't touch my damn quarterback." And then my girlfriend went, "What about me?" And I said, "Don't touch my girlfriend." She just kept.
See, I don't know why they're on. Like, I get that the offensive. Yeah, I don't know.
The offensive line.
It's tough because I haven't watched in a couple weeks, but like, I don't know. I've said this for quite a while. No disrespect to Cody Fajardo, because great guy. Maybe there's a reason he was a backup for so long. I don't know. Like, you kind of want to see Harker Lynch get some reps as we get down to the nitty gritty here. Like, because, yeah, even if Fajardo goes down, like, I don't know. I'm worried. I am not sold, though. Like, that's just me being a skeptic or whatever. But
a realistic person, a realistic fan.
I like to think of myself as that nowadays. It's not live or die by the sword or whatever you'd say. But yeah, maybe Fajardo's not the guy, and maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a lot of things like you can only have one quarterback play at a time. So that's the issue, is that the grass is always greener, but the grass may still be grass if you look at it close enough. Whatever. Yeah. I mean, talking in like alliterations, I think tonight. But you feel what I mean. You get what picking up what I'm putting down.
Definitely. I mean, yeah. If you watch the Riders long enough, Brady, though, you will see how much Fajardo seems like he's just in a scramble. And that's the frustrating part.
The happy feet thing, remember?
Exactly. And it sometimes there are a few occasions, Brady, where it's like he's doing this on purpose, where he's just like, "Oh, I don't want to throw it. I want to run it instead." I mean, there are some drawn up plays, but it's like sit back, relax, and throw the ball. I know in the Canadian
I hate to say a toe-to-so, but a toe-to-so.
I know in the Canadian
long time ago.
You did say it. I know you mentioned it. You were worried about regression. I remember you telling me about this when we were playing Winnipeg after he had torn his oblique. The oblique, the most foreign injury we've ever heard of in football history. I don't think I've ever heard of a quarterback going out because of a torn oblique or anything else.
I think Giordano had that a few years ago for the Flames. Yeah, something wild like that. Yeah. But maybe it was a bicep. I don't know. It's a weird injury.
Do you hear about that in football at all? Like, never.
No.
Absolutely never, right? And you're like, well, how the hell did he tear his oblique? What the hell happened, right? Like, was he throwing too hard? And you never know. Maybe it's a mental aspect, and it's like, I don't want to throw too hard.
He gets angry.
Tear my oblique, and he does. It seems like he has a shorter temper this season. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because he's getting hit.
We know the guy wants to win. Obviously, that's part of the reason. But like, I remember when he got really angry that one game, and I was listening to the Green Zone, and someone said like this could be the Riders' turning point. It could go either really well or really badly after this, and nothing really changed after it. Right?
It's frustrating to watch, to see the O-line struggle and Fajardo get hit.
Yeah.
And the O-line and the receiver is not able to get open and also get hurt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they roll into this offseason and they're like, you know what? Tear her down and start over. You know
they
what?
Might have to.
You know what?
We're going to have to load up.
I would not be disappointed about that. I would honestly respect that as a fan and be like, you know what? As an organization, we might have messed up. Let's tear it down, start over, see what we can get in the next generation of players, right?
Yeah.
Just see Avery. What we can get. Yep.
Do you smell that
What's that?
this week? I think I might smell a trap game.
It's against the Edmonton Elks with Arbuckle starting.
Yeah, because like broken clock is twice a day. Another one. Let's keep going to the alliterations. But yeah, I'm a little worried because like the Esks. No, put it in the jar.
Oh no!
The Elks have nothing to lose. Like absolutely nothing to lose.
They really don't.
They've lost enough. They're
not making the playoffs.
No. So I'm a little worried. One of these next 2 weeks, because it's back to back, correct? I keep asking you questions while we're on video now, so we can see that you're drinking water, mixing one in. But like, what are you thinking about this week?
It could go super well or super bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's my mentality.
Michael Cera, baby.
Yeah, because the Elks have been terrible this season. They have lost to the worst team in the CFL twice, which is the Ottawa Red Blacks. Because we've seen the Elks win a few games here and there. However, I think we got to place the Elks at the bottom of the list. But with a different quarterback, who knows? Maybe Arbuckle fits the system and it completely changes the culture in Edmonton.
Right.
I highly doubt that. And maybe they win the rest of the season, and all of a sudden it blows the Saskatchewan Roughriders playoff hopes out of the water, and all of a sudden we're playing in Calgary, and it doesn't help our situation.
All of a sudden we find ourselves in Hamilton, Ontario, in a crossover. What the hell happened? But yeah, I smell a trap game. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm happy I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm not happy I'm right. Let's go to local sports. Let's end the Rough Rider Corner for this week. We actually don't have very many left also. Season's getting shorter and shorter. But LLP local sports, one thing about the CFL season getting shorter and shorter, it's hockey season. Yep. This last weekend at Merlis Belcher Place, the Huskies came out, played the Manitoba Bison. It wasn't what we wanted.
What happened, Brady?
The first game was 0-0. The Huskies had, I think, 31 shots going into overtime. And it's also, I don't agree with this, but it goes 4-on-4 for 5 minutes in overtime, and then 3-on-3 for 5 minutes in overtime. So it's a 10-minute overtime followed by a shootout. And they didn't make it to the second one. Manitoba scored with, I think it was just a couple minutes left in the first overtime. So basically it was a shutout, but an overtime loss in a weird way. Second game didn't go very well for the Huskies. They got sustained pressure, but just couldn't beat the Tendy. Another tough loss. So they went from 2-0 to 2-2, sweeping Calgary, and then they were swept by Manitoba. This next weekend is a break. We will not be playing hockey. There will be men's hockey. So basically, Canada West has installed buffer weeks this season because of COVID. So basically, in these buffer weeks, it's either a week off for the team or they stack the games that were canceled. The men are down in Regina to not replay, but play that game again. Not play that game again. Play it for the first time. And yeah, they're going to be playing the Cougars. So at least there's some sort of Canada West hockey on this week. But that's about it for my Huskies report, Avery. You have on here high school playoff football. What you got for me?
Yes, of course. Quarterfinals for provincials took place this past weekend. I would list off the scores. However, I'm just going to list off the teams that are moving on. Okay. So moving on in Division A, Division 1A, 6-a-side football. You've got Hafford getting ready to play Plenty this Saturday, and also Carrot River taking on Lemberg.
Lemberg, eh?
Lemberg.
Nice. Haven't heard that name in a while.
They're playing on Saturday at 1 p.m. Also in 2A 6-a-side football. You've got Shellbrook taking on Clavette and my very own Waka Warriors. Let's go. Taking on the Watrous Wildcats. I was actually at the game. The Waka Warriors played against Lanigan in the quarterfinals. I was PA announcing the game because my hometown.
Not a big deal.
Nope. Hometown loves to have me back. Waka Warriors beat Lanigan 90-14. You really got to wonder
how many players are on the field in this?
6.
6 man. That's okay.
Yes.
That
6
makes
man.
more sense.
Listen,
but still, damn.
listen. Could you imagine spreads on 6-man football games? Like if there was a professional league where you're just like, Dude, Vegas would clean house. You wouldn't be able to guess the spreads. You wouldn't be able to guess the over-under. It would be impossible.
Quit betting on high school sports.
I think about it. I think about it on a day-to-day basis now, watching these games. It's like you'd never know because the over-under is so high and so low, and also the spread would be absolutely insane on some of these teams. Like, also... Like we mentioned, Shellbrook and Clavette. Shellbrook barely won by 4 points, right, against Creighton. And then you see Clavette absolutely smack Unity 68-35. Like, games have different outcomes. But, yeah, Waka's taking on Watrous in 2A 6-a-side football this Saturday, 1 p.m. Going to be a great game. Hopefully my bros do good. They're the stars of the team. Moving
stars
on.
in Avery's eyes, too.
Yeah, LeBlanc Magic. And moving on
LeBlanc Magic. That's how you said it, dude. Not even jacked up about it. Like
LeBlanc Magic.
LeBlanc Magic.
No, moving on to 9-a-side football. We've got Tisdale taking on Delisle at 1 p.m. on Saturday. And I think all these games are at 1 p.m. All these games are at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Martinsville is heading to Melville. So that should be a great game. I know that Benny was pretty jacked up about it. They ended up beating Melfort 48-41. So they're moving on to the semifinals, and I'm sure they're feeling confident, getting ready to beat Martinsville. And then as we move on to 12-a-side football, this is Division 5A, 12-a-side. And we're looking at Saskatoon Bishop Mahoney. I think that's Bishop Mahoney.
Sure.
Am I right?
Something funny about that school. One of their graduates that plays, I believe, for Edmonton, the U of A, knocked out the Rams last week, or he was a big reason why they were knocked out. He picked up the ball in the end zone on a screw up in special teams. I read that the other day and I went, that name somehow sounds familiar. And I checked, and yes, the Saskatoon boy knocked out the Regina Rams.
Well, that Saskatoon boy is going to be rooting for his Saskatoon Bishop Mahoney's.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Saskatoon Bishop Mahoney. I don't know. I wish I knew how to. Mahoney? I don't know.
It's Mahoney. It's Mahoney. I said Mahoney. Yes. Mahomes. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
They're taking on Weyburn, and then you got the Balgony Greenall taking on Regina Sheldon Williams. That'll be, both. Yeah, so the game on Saturday between Weyburn and Saskatoon, 1 p.m. Saturday, whereas Balgony and Regina are going at it Friday at 5:30, so that'll be a night game.
Okay.
That should be interesting.
When it comes to the Regina playoffs and everything, just a quick shout out here to another friend of the podcast. Vanstone's been putting out some pretty good content when it comes to high school football. So big shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, Rob Vanstone.
Friend of the pod. Let's go. And then finally, the quarterfinals of 6A 12-a-side football. This is the final division. Regina Miller is taking on Regina Laboldis. And then you've also got Saskatoon St. Joseph taking on Saskatoon Holy Cross. And they'll be rolling into the semifinals next weekend. So the games for that are a little different. They're taking place on Saturdays. The Regina is taking place at 8 o'clock, whereas Saskatoon taking on at 6:30 Friday. So, high school football's in full swing. Gotta love it. And this is where high school memories are made forever. And this is where you hear a lot of 40-year-old parents talk about, I won the provincial championship back when I was 18. Let's go, baby.
Avery's still clinging on.
I am.
We'll be back
you know,
next week with this segment, and it'll be half as long.
it will be, because there won't be nearly as much to list off.
Yes, that was the joke, Avery. Okay, let's put a bow on this. LLP in the community. Harvest Showdown in Yorkton. Avery, go.
Yeah, so they're having the Harvest Showdown starting today, running up until Saturday. They've got professional bull riding going on. They got a trade show. They got the grain show. They got the cattle show. It's going to be a blast. All going on at the Gallagher Center. Be sure to stop by, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So check it out if you're in the Yorkton area.
Will you be there live, Avery?
I will be there Saturday, not live, but I will be there hanging out if you want to come
autographs.
Say hi.
If you would like autographs from Avery LeBlanc, head there.
I will be there to talk to you, give you my wisdom if I can. If you want an autograph, I'll give you one, but I don't think.
Have you ever gotten it? Have you ever gotten asked for your autograph?
No, I haven't.
Either.
No,
we're not there yet.
No, we're not
You're
there
not
yet.
there yet. I saw a future friend of the podcast, Allison Bamford, a few months ago. That was a cute one. A couple kids walked up and asked her, and I'm like, if only I was better at my job. Oh boy, this is fun. This is a good episode.
It is a good episode.
We're gonna flip it over here. Big shout out to we're gonna say my favorite rink in Saskatchewan, because why not? Ituna. You're getting a new rink. Holy shit.
Let's go.
Please call it the Pierogi Palace. Please call it the Pierogi Palace. Please call it the Pierogi Palace. There's no other name that we should be talking about. But yes, Ituna is going to replace their old barn with a new barn. I think they put a bow on their $3.8 million project that they were, like, their fundraising project. I want to talk to someone from Ituna about this. So hopefully we can get someone on the podcast in the coming weeks. But yeah, big news in Ituna, because that rink is freaking cold. And that was my favorite to win the coldest barn way back in the day. And it did not happen. If we were betting in Vegas, I guess, like Avery is betting on high school sports in Vegas, I would have lost money, because Ituna for me is my coldest barn for sure. Pierogi's always warm though, so, great place.
Can't go wrong with it.
Exactly. So it's going to wrap up our LLP in the community segment. Now we're going outside of the borders. Now, outside of the borders this week. So do you want to start with the good or the bad?
All right, let's fire up you know what? We're going to fire up the bad, because we want to go bad.
You want to get it.
Finish the show on a good note, Brady.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So Avery, have you been following the Kyle Beach stuff?
I think I've heard a few things about it.
Okay.
I have heard a few people dropping out of the NHL because of it. And
not really dropping out of the NHL.
Resigning.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Quenneville, Stan Bowman. Yeah. Just.
It really gives a big backstory as to what's really been going on over the last few years.
We're not going to get into it, but like we have an E on this already, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, we need some change in hockey.
We do.
Like
you need some inspectors.
some shit needs to change.
Yeah.
And like it's not going to, like, this is the tip of the iceberg, and like everyone at the start of the year, woohoo, ESPN has more eyes on us now. Shit. ESPN has more eyes on us now. Like, really. Obviously, like, unspeakable shit happened. But things need to change in the NHL, and like, where do you even start? Even like Gary Bettman's press conference the other day, like, I think that's where you need to start.
Yep.
Like the thought of like a players union, a union that's supposed to protect the players is the one that really dropped the ball and screwed this whole thing up. And like, did you watch the Kyle Beach interview?
I watched parts of it. Yep. I saw
Whoever's listening right now, if you have not watched that, watch it. Watch it from beginning to end and go along, like not go along with it. Go and experience it. Because like that is one of the greatest interviews ever put together. Rick Westhead, hats off to him. He has been on this story for so long. And like we're opening it all up now. It feels like there was another incident that is now being pursued as well in Pittsburgh. It was a connection to the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins organization, which is the AHL team. I know we're getting very hockey minded right now, but this is a big deal. Like, because obviously we see it from such a large standpoint, and you think about it, the NHL, there's so much money in that. Well, think of the shit that may be happening where there's no stakes involved.
No cameras.
That shit is terrifying. As a parent, that's fucking terrifying. Like, you're supposed to... The thing that... I don't want to say the thing that really bothered me, but this is just another portion of this. Kyle Beach was the only person of the top 20 players drafted in his draft class, because he was drafted 11th. He was the only player not to play a game.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking plain to see that's because he stood up and said something. Like, I don't know. I just felt like we needed to talk about this because everyone should be talking about this. Hockey is such like an intertwined thing in our culture, right?
For sure.
And like just hockey culture, Saskatchewan culture, but hockey culture needs to change. It is toxic. There's people out there that, oh, how could this happen? Pretty easy to see it happening, as sad as that sounds. Like, it's just horrifying, and like, hats off to Kyle Beach and hats off to Rick Westhead. Hats off to anyone that like was involved in this, because this is crazy shit. I've seen a lot of people saying like this is the biggest story likely we're gonna see from the NHL in a long time, because this is the start of things. Things are gonna get worse, I think.
Well, and you don't have to understand hockey to know what's going on. That's the thing. That's when you really know it's a big story, right?
This pushes sports. This pushes boundaries, right?
Yep, exactly. And another thing, I think it really impacts the thing is that hockey is a great sport. There's no question about it. But this dampens the view of people's thoughts on hockey, right? Mm-hmm. Especially those who don't have an insight on it. And it's like, oh gosh, like this is going on in hockey. I don't know if I want to be a part of that. People who are thinking like, oh, maybe I'll watch the playoffs every once in a while, right? It's unfortunate. And hockey is a great sport. It's part of this country. And it just sucks. And I think that, yeah, shout out to those who are involved, and
Kyle Beach, man.
Yeah, thanks to those who came out.
I've seen it a lot, like describing him as a hero. He is a hero.
Yep.
So thank you, Kyle Beach, for stepping up and speaking out. Yeah.
Lots of staff changes in the NHLPA. Just saying.
It's going to happen. There's a lot of stuff. They're
going to gut the thing and restart.
Our game is going to look a lot different by year's end. And it's going to look a lot different by the time we turn around and drop the puck next year.
Yep.
Like, it has to. There's no way it can't at this point.
Yep.
You want to talk about the good stuff now, though, Avery?
Yeah, let's talk about the good stuff. Your Flames are doing good, Brady.
I watched the Flames game the other night, and I looked at Sage, and I was like, who's this team? Like, I have never seen the Flames this good. And I'm sorry I've been looking at my phone a lot during the recording. Still waiting on that Jack Eichel trade. That could happen. Weird. But, yeah, it's just kind of wild at this point. What is happening in Calgary. Like they had one shift where I saw 3 or 4 breakaways the other night against Nashville. And I'm like Sutter's got them playing good hockey. And I said it from the beginning of the year, like give Sutter a full training camp, but damn. And it is nice to have hockey back, but like there's just that dark cloud now that we were talking about all the bad, right? Yeah, that's tough. But at the same time, hockey is back.
It is back. Yeah, your Flames are 6-1-2 right now. Got 14 points as of
Should have
right
beat
now.
Nashville. Should have beat Nashville. That game was like UC Sorrow stood on his head. But yeah, it's been nice getting back into hockey too.
For sure.
I was very excited for the season to start. And then obviously everything changed. And now I'm sitting here like, you know what? I'll just sit here with a little guy and watch hockey. Well, we'll start him young. We'll start him real young.
The crazy thing, Brady, is that the Oilers are better.
Yeah, but are they?
We'll find out later on in the season because
they can score lots of goals, but like every team
can they finish games? Can they finish games? That's the question.
Yeah.
Can they win with offense and not defense? That's the question with every team. You have to have a good defense if you're going to win.
Exactly. But I think that goes to the end of this podcast. Avery, your first solo feature interview. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for stepping in. It's likely going to happen a little bit more as we continue on. But yeah, Avery, wrap us up.
All righty. Let me just look for the damn socials.
Yeah, way to go. You didn't put it on the thing.
I didn't. I'm surprised I didn't. I always do, even during the podcast. Why don't I do this? Where the hell is it?
Avery can't find it, so you know what? I'm going to try and do it off the top of my head.
All right, you do it, Brady. Go
All
hard.
right. So follow us on Facebook at the Lang and LeBlanc Podcast, on Twitter at Lang LeBlanc Pod, on LinkedIn at the Lang and LeBlanc Podcast, on Instagram at Lang LeBlanc Podcast. If you want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at langleblanclive or live@gmail.com. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. You're obviously listening to a podcast right now. So if you have an opportunity, please go and subscribe to us on your preferred podcasting channel, whether that be Apple, Google, Spotify, or Podbean. We also have that YouTube channel now. If you're watching us right now, thank you for the view. If you can please give us one of these. I got a weird thumb also, by the way. Give us one of these because of my weird thumb. Oh, my headphones died. Let's continue on without the headphones now. All right. What else do I have? So
you mentioned the podcast. Now you got the email.
Give us 5 stars where you can. Subscribe to us where you can. Head to the Lang LeBlanc Podcast.com. It's right down here if you're on video, whatever. That's basically your hub for everything LLP. So go there. We have everything if you want to advertise with us. All things LLP. If you guys want to follow us specifically individually on Twitter, you can go Brady Lang SK right here. Avery LeBlanc
Avery's
on
below
Twitter.
me.
Airwaves Aves with a Z at the end. And I think that is it. My headphones are still dead. Avery, did I miss anything?
Nah, you nailed it. You're good.
Perfect.
Good job, Brady.
For doing this.
We switched roles. I did the interview on my own. You did the socials and everything. It's good.
Yeah, exactly.
We're taking turns.
I unplugged my headphones so I could hear you a little bit. But yeah, thank you guys all for listening. Thank you to the new kids on your mom. Great name. I hope that they explained it in the interview. Thank you to New Kids on Your Mom for jumping on the podcast. Avery, that's it. We'll see you guys next week with another guest to be announced later because we're week to week, day to day. This is fun.
It is a lot of fun, Brady.
block with my Velcro shoes and compression socks. Put my teeth back in, shuffle down the hall. I'm old as fuck, but I'm young at heart. I'm finishing a puzzle with a couple of tarts. And if I play my cards right and you catch my lingo, I'll be taking both of these birds out to bingo. STDs and nursing homes are on the rise. But let my brittle old bones get between your thighs. We can have some hanky-panky hump and wheeze as my saggy old nuts slap against your knees.
Could you turn it tip down? It's a bit loud.
Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. There's caffeine in my coffee and I'm all shook up. Grab a short nap after coffee roll, and then I hop in my car to drive too slow. With my veterans plates and handicap sticker, corduroy pants that are even thicker. Can't find my wallet so I have a quick search. Then I gotta get my old ass off to church. Turn my hearing aids down, nod and smile. Let my acorn lift and it takes a while. Grab an early supper, maybe 4 o'clock, and then Jeopardy's on and it's time to rock. Play crib on bowl, then I take a swim. Let my nuts hang out when I'm at the gym. Have a quick steam bath and I'm in the zone. Putting on stinky old man cologne. Got a new tennis ball for the end of my cane, so I can go off-road on rough terrain. I'm a real crowd pleaser, frail old geezer. I love crosswords and a good brain teaser. Some of these grinders are past the prime. Age is just a number and it's better with time. My tuna casserole is always killer. It's gonna be wild cause it's potluck dinner.
You darn kids! Get off my lawn!
My joints are acting up, it's about to rain, and I'm paying for prescriptions with a pile of change. Picking up brand new orthotic shoes and cream for my liver spots and purple bruise. It's time for my bath, better get the sponge. You can set me in the tub and I'll take the plunge. Stroll to the kitchen and I grab some Jell-O. Then I wink at all the ladies and I give them a hello. Popping some Viagra for an extra boost. The place is full of widows and they're on the loose. Yeah, sure they might have some varicose veins, but get them out of their nightie and it's off the chain.
Hey! Ladies! You go on ahead. I just need to rest for a minute. Well, that settles that then.